They say you can't choose your family, but I wish I could have chosen a father who didn't look at me like a bill he couldn't wait to stop paying. Growing up, my dad made it painfully clear that I was never part of the plan. He didn't say it outright, not at first. But you can feel it. In the silence when you enter the room. In the sighs when you ask for something. In the way every achievement is met with a shrug, while every mistake becomes a scar he reminds you of for years. I used to think that maybe if I worked harder, if I did everything right, he'd change. That someday he'd look at me the way he looked at my older brother, Jacob. With pride. With softness. But I never had his last name on my jersey or his arm around my shoulders after a win. Because in his eyes, I wasn't a victory. I was a cost. Things got worse after Mom died. She had been the buffer between us. The quiet, exhausted shield who believed in me even when no one else did. She passed 2 years ago. Breast cancer. Fast and cruel. After that, Dad stopped pretending to care at all. Jacob moved out a month later. Got a job across the country. Promised to call. Barely did. That left just me and Dad. The house was heavy with silence. We stopped eating dinner together. He'd grunt when I came home, maybe not if he felt generous. One day I overheard him on the phone with someone. I don't know who. She's still here, he muttered. A burden. Like everything else. I stopped breathing for a moment. He didn't say my name, but he didn't need to. That word burned. Burden. I was 22. I had just finished college. I paid bills. I kept the house running. I put my dreams on hold because he said we couldn't afford for me to move out yet. And still a burden. I spent the next few nights crying into my pillow, but by the end of the week, my tears hardened into resolve. I was done waiting for love that would never come. Here's what my father forgot. The house he called his, it was in my name. It was never supposed to be that way. When Mom was sick, she quietly transferred the deed to me. Said she wanted to make sure I'd always have a place to call home. Dad didn't know. Or maybe he did and chose to ignore it, thinking I'd never do anything with it. But he underestimated what being called a burden does to someone. I didn't tell him when I started looking. I didn't ask permission. I contacted a real estate agent, made plans and signed papers. All while he sat on the couch watching TV, yelling at the news and forgetting my birthday. I remember the morning the papers went through. I walked into the kitchen where he was sipping his coffee. I set the manila envelope on the table. "What's this?" he asked, barely glancing up. "I sold the house." He blinked. "What? It's done. You have 30 days to vacate." His laugh was dry and bitter. "Don't be stupid. This is my house." "No," I said, calm and firm. "It's mine. Mom put it in my name. She wanted to protect me. She knew you'd never treat me like a daughter." He stood up then, face red. "You ungrateful little—" "Don't," I cut him off. "I'm not your burden anymore." He yelled. Of course he did. Accused me of stealing. Threatened to sue. Said I was heartless. But he never once asked why. Never once reflected on the years of coldness and contempt that brought me here. The move out was ugly. He tried to guilt me. So did some family members who only heard his side. But I didn't bend. I'd bent my whole life, trying to be something he'd love. I was done breaking myself to make room for someone who saw me as weight. I used the money from the sale to move to a new city. I got a tiny apartment. Started my own business. It was hard at first. Lonely too. But it was mine. Every decision. Every corner. Every step forward. Sometimes I think about the house. The creaky floors. The way the light hit the kitchen counter in the morning. The memories of my mom there, her soft humming while she made coffee. That's what I miss. Not the walls. Not him. He sent me one letter since. Just a single line. "You'll regret this." But I never did. Because I learned something he never did. Love is not earned by suffering. And family doesn't give you the right to wound someone over and over and call it discipline. I'm not a burden. I never was. And the day I sold that house was the day I finally came home to myself.